If he was not the Christian author with more words in print than any other, then who was? If his sermons did not circulate more widely than anyone else's, then whose did? If he was not the most popular preacher of the 19th century, then who was? Again, these claims do not matter in themselves. They are, in truth, as we have already intimated, a little unseemly when discussing servants of Jesus Christ. The point is, simply, that it was so incalculably vast that it is easier to underestimate than overestimate the reach and significance of Spurgeon's ministry. You could be buried alive in books about Spurgeon. His giant reputation has created an entire publishing phenomenon focusing on just one man. The first book about Spurgeon was published when he was just 22 years old. By the time he was 23, the first full biography had already appeared. At his death, at the early age of 57, biographies of Spurgeon started appearing at the rate of one per month. Just one of these, The Life and Work of Charles Haddon Spurgeon, by G. Holden Pike, was 6 volumes long. Still, Spurgeon has been scandalously neglected by scholars. It is hard to think of anyone with his level of fame and reputation who has been so thoroughly ignored. There are, literally, only a handful of scholarly books on Spurgeon. For a long, long time, Patricia Krupa's Charles Haddon Spurgeon, A Preacher's Progress, published in 1982, but essentially her 1968 PhD dissertation, held the field alone. It was a flawed study, but as the one scholarly one, it was also essential. And there is still such a dearth of academic studies on Spurgeon that it has been recently reissued by a new publisher without even being revised or updated. Today, however, people have the privilege of reading Tom Nettle's wonderful and worthy book, Living by Revealed Truth, The Life and Pastoral Theology of Charles Haddon Spurgeon, 2013. If you want to read a biography of Spurgeon, start with it. Nettles did his research well, but he chose to write a book that tilted toward the preferences of the popular market, rather than attending to the needs and concerns of scholars. Perhaps the best academic study of Spurgeon hitherto has been Peter J. Morden, Communion with Christ and His People, The Spirituality of C. H. Spurgeon, 2010, Thomas Breimeyer's Tethered to the Cross, The Life and Preaching of Charles H. Spurgeon, is the most important scholarly study of Spurgeon that has ever been written. It is the very best place to start for anyone who wants to study Spurgeon. It is extremely well researched and highly judicious. You can trust that the claims are well grounded and right. It is also a joy to read. Before turning to the central themes of Tethered to the Cross, it is worth mentioning a few unexpected delights that one encounters along the way, almost by the by, but not quite. I myself have done research and written scholarly chapters on Spurgeon, and, for what it is worth, these are new delights for me that either Breimaier has uncovered or I had somehow hitherto missed. One is Spurgeon's poignant and profound sermon, Accidents, Not Punishments. His text was Luke chapter 13, verses 1 through 5. People were shaken by recent deaths in a train collision, and Spurgeon preached against the assumption that these people were being punished because of their exceptional sinfulness. When David Livingstone died deep in the interior of Africa, they found a copy of that sermon among his possessions. He had marked it, very good. I was also struck by Spurgeon's refusal to take up even seemingly Christian or scriptural concerns that he felt would deflect him from his fundamental task of preaching the gospel. On the issue of a young earth, he simply retorted, "I do not know, and I do not care much about the question." Likewise, he refused to join the rage among conservative Christians for eschatological theories and end-time speculation. On the imagery in the Book of Revelation, Spurgeon declared, "I confess I am not sent to decipher the apocalyptic symbols. My errand is humbler, but equally useful. I am sent to bring souls to Jesus Christ." I was also pleased to learn about the amazing Lavinia Bartlett, a woman in Spurgeon's congregation who matched him in her zeal for souls, and in the converting power of her Bible teaching. Spurgeon's own magazine, The Sword and the Trowel, recommended that male preachers sit under Bartlett's ministry in order to learn how to be more effective. Stories were told of souls whose hearts had remained hard, even under Spurgeon's ministry, but had been cracked open for Christ to enter in through Bartlett's teaching.